result, roll resonance can occur, causing healing angles of up to 16 degrees. So although they are stable, these large container ships can roll strongly. This causes large accelerations and forces being applied to the containers that can exceed safe design values. 2. In these beam waves, the ship does not only roll from side to side, but also heaves up and down many vertical meters. With a large draft of around 12 meters, in a water depth of only 21 meters, there is very limited under-keel clearance between the ship and the seabed, less than 10 meters. As a result of the combined rolling and heaving, a wide ship with a large draft can touch the seabed. When this happens, shocks and vibrations can occur in the ship, containers, and lashings. The lashings can fail as a result. These visualizations show the magnified vibrations of the wooden test model when it hits the basin floor. How this works for a steel ship that touches the sandy seabed needs further research. 3. In the very shallow water above the Wadden Islands, breaking waves can hit the side of the ship, resulting in a large upward jet of water reaching the containers, which are 20 to 40 meters above the surface of the sea. We call this green water, as it is massive seawater and not just white foam in the wind. This massive green water hits the bottom and the sides of the containers. These can become damaged as a result, but complete stacks of containers can also be pushed over like dominoes. If we compare the locations on the ship where green water impacts are observed with the damaged rows of containers on the ship, we see a clear correlation. It is therefore probable that green water impacts played a role in the loss of the containers. 4. Finally, the hull of the ship was also hit by breaking waves. This can result in vibrations throughout the ship, damaging containers and lashings. To prevent this type of disaster from occurring in the future, it is important to look further than the specific conditions of January 2019 and the effects on ultra-large container ships. We also have to look at other ship types and sizes that sail this busy area. The same 4 phenomena will occur for smaller ships, but their sensitivity will be different, as will be the limiting weather conditions for safe operations. Based on the annual traffic above the Wadden Islands, Marin has advised the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management to conduct further investigations of 3 ship types: ultra-large container ships with lengths of up to 400 meters, like the MSC Zoe, a shorter and narrower Panamax, nearly 300 meters long, and a smaller container feeder with a length of 160 meters. The importance of testing smaller ships was underscored when the feeder Rama lost 7 containers on February 11, 2020. In addition to the prevention of container loss, the goal of the present Marin investigation is that these ships and their crews and cargoes may also sail safely in this particularly sensitive sea area. We're doing this for the shallow southerly route directly above the Wadden Islands, as well as the deeper, more northerly route. Based on these results, the government can determine what policy is required: advice to ships from the Coast Guard, or closing an entire route under certain conditions. We will share these results as soon as we complete our extensive investigations, because at Marin, we want to contribute to cleaner and safer oceans.
Still in sight. Cutting their vision.
The biggest. The heaviest.
Fuck. It's stuck on the track.
The most. And the most expensive goods on Earth.
Spike planted.
Everything
Enemy
people can
spotted
move.
A.
On land. On water. And in the air. Record-breaking, stunning, global. They are mega transports.
Good attempt.
If I kill all the enemies myself, I apologize. I have troubles.
Shouting. Need a drop.
Enemy spotted A. Enemy spotted A. There they are.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
Healing you.
Revealing area.
We will claw our way back up to the light.
I'd like to open this video by playing a clip for you guys, and do burn this one into your minds, as certain contradictions will become very apparent. So let's check this out.
So our promise to the community is that we won't have random loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios.
So I wonder if they lived up to that promise, huh? Spoilers, they didn't. It's common knowledge at this point that Marvel's Avengers has been a troubled game since the beginning. Looking at the Metascore, it's still low scores across the board, just a buggy, incomplete, broken launch, as is expected of AAA live services these days, as commonly tends to happen, unfortunately. The player base, I mean, look at how much it's plummeted over the past few months, down to a couple hundred players every day, and it peaked a little bit when Black Panther released, but you can see how quickly the numbers diminished. Avengers did see a boost recently because it released on Xbox Game Pass and made it to the top 10 and whatnot, but how long that lasts obviously is a whole other story. I get the sense that once players play this game and realize it's actually not that fun, those numbers will probably go down, kind of like how it did on Steam. And a big issue with Marvel's Avengers and its live service nature is the microtransactions and how ludicrously expensive they are, despite this being a full-price game. You can see the prices right here, at least at launch. I don't know if they've changed since, but I mean, just way overpriced for what you get and the quality of the cosmetics themselves. And at one point during this event called the Red Room event, people were pissed at the lackluster rewards. These were the skins that you got. They were just recolors of existing skins, and they weren't even rewards for the event, but rather relegated to the marketplace. Plenty of people complained about this one. And what rewards you did get for completing the event were lame frickin' nameplates, which are among the least desired rewards in the game. And it didn't help matters that the event was bugged and people just couldn't play it properly. And for those who did manage to complete the event, even some of those folks didn't end up getting rewards because of a bug. And beyond cosmetic rewards, loot has been an issue with this game that has not been addressed, which is why people have been requesting some kind of Loot 2.0 patch overhaul that the developers have not been too keen on prioritizing. We have seen issues like IP addresses leaking through the game, and for the purposes of this video, one occurrence to keep in mind is when Marvel's Avengers reworked experience and try to nerf the rate at which you earn rewards, because they said people rewarded too fast and that was confusing and overwhelming to newer players. Basically, everyone knew this was a bullshit excuse. That whole fiasco looks that much worse with the latest update that added something new to the microtransaction store, something that they promised they wouldn't add. Gameplay affecting microtransactions, specifically XP boosters, and clicking on this will reveal the full screen. And you can see right here on top you've got the cosmetics, and below you've got consumables that are essentially straight up XP boosters to speed up your leveling. And this wasn't something that was promised just once at E3 2019, though that alone should have been enough. It was promised by the head of Crystal Dynamics, Scott Amos, as pointed out here by this Reddit user, who took a direct quote from back in June of 2019 and presented it. In terms of how we monetize, we'll have cosmetics. No gameplay paywalls, said Scott Amos, and there is a link to the article with a direct quote alongside other sources that basically iterated that this was never going to be an occurrence, though of course video game companies and publishers being what they are and how greedy they can get, it comes as no surprise that a AAA live service broke a promise about their intentions to be consumer-friendly. And it's not as if Marvel's Avengers was being consumer-friendly in the first place, it's just that much more anti-consumer now. And there are plenty of other Reddit posts expressing their grievances at the lies and the promises broken. Here's one individual who said, and yet here we are officially selling consumables, experience boosters, gear resources. A lot of people with games are usually quick to call the developer a liar, not me, because I understand an inability to offer something timely isn't necessarily a lie. It just means what you wanted to offer wasn't ready yet. But this, as a great supporter of this game, this is unjustifiable. This game has now pissed off even the most loyal fans, what few remain. You asked during testing if consumables should be sold. and I assume countless others said no and reminded you of your promise and that the backlash would be terrible. You promised you wouldn't do this. You lied to all of us. We have asked for cosmetic skins. You gave us abominations. We asked for new game-changing characters. You gave us recyclable echoes. We asked for worthwhile gear, and you gave us reasons not to farm. Why? It isn't just the fact that they're adding that extra layer of gameplay affecting microtransactions. It's the state of the game itself. It's just not in a place where Marvel's Avengers can afford to piss off the community with such an addition. And so this is just the cherry on top to a really, really shitty cake, to a turd disguised as a cake. And all this comes following a troubled week where a number of other issues cropped up. So this Reddit user points out how the paid boosters were preceded by the Tachyon Surge fix and the bug during an Xbox live stream that caused the stream to end. I actually didn't know about this. That's yikes. But the Tachyon Surge fix, what they're referring to is essentially a nerf to a perk within the